So pretty. Beyond belief.
Oh, that's from a video, right?
From your site, yes. Sounds so good.
Area Street.
The sun, you're my everything, rolled up into one. You're my only dream, my only real reality. You're my idea of the perfect personality. You're my everything, everything I need. Song I sing and the book I read. You're the way
Beyond belief. To make it brief.
You're my summer, spring.
Would you like to have a little bit of coffee sometime?
You're my everything, rolled up into one. You're my only dream, my only real reality. You're my idea of the perfect personality. You're my everything, everything I need. You're the song I sing and the book I read. You're way beyond belief, and just to make it free. You're my winter, summer, spring. It's a dreaded ending. You're my everything.
Oh. Oh, yay. That is so cool. Oh, that's so good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest today, she's special anyway, but she has sat in for Bill Mays, who lost his voice today. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. And it's the wonderful Jay Clayton.
Well, thank you for getting me away from the troubles of the world. Oh my God.
I know. Well, I know this week I was going, should I have people on this week? And then I thought, yes, I should have people on this week. Just, take people's minds away from, the craziness.
Yeah, I mean, we won't ignore it completely, but I need to get, if you're either crying or getting away from it, and then facing it. But we're getting away from it. Thank you, Cathy, for even thinking of me, because I put earrings on. I haven't had earrings on for months.
You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that.
So I recognize Ken Filiano, but I didn't know the rest of the band. Who was in the
That's John DiMartino. Oh shoot. Oh God, I've lost the drummer's name, but I'll come up with it at some point. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was such a fun Cornelia Street. Did you ever do it? I can't remember.
I never did. Nope.
Did you make it to Cornelia Street?
No,
It's been gone
I
for a
never, I
while.
don't think I ever made it even there.
Yeah, it was there. That was there for 40 years. I mean, it was there forever. When I lived in New York, it was there, and I was gone 20 and I'm back 20. So, and then just a couple of years ago, that was it. There was always a threat, the usual threat, but the rents went up so high that, no, it's a great loss. It was downstairs, one of those downstairs, Italian restaurant with a nice room, a listening room, so there it is,
Why do they throw that stuff away? It's like, what could they possibly gain, like so much more out of it, than what they have already?
I'm not sure, actually. That's a good question because I haven't been around there. I'm not sure. And it's the heart of the village, so it may not been. I mean, a lot of those places that do that, then they're just vacant for a long time. They're going to pay no one's paying the rent anyway,
I know. It's really just
I'm
so
not sure.
greed-based or something,
Yeah, but it was
too bad.
always a fun audience and, good place to play. So there you go. You got it. And they just videotaped it and sent me the video, I mean, that's cool, so.
Looks like a cozy stage.
Yeah, it is. It's not, and for a long time they didn't have that piano. So that's why.
Oh, really?
So I would do guitar and stuff. And then for a while they had the piano. And of course, John is on. I wasn't sure because John is on my CD that has My Everything. It's the Harry Who CD. So I wasn't sure. But Harry Who didn't have drums. So I knew, oh God, what's his name? Oh my God. Andrea Walpole will know if she comes on for her again. The mind is a terrible thing.
I know, right.
Period.
The mind is a terrible thing. Well, we're going to hear some Jay-isms today, and that was one of them. The mind is a terrible thing.
Quote me.
The one that I always like is anything all right?
Is anything?
I like that one. We have some people saying hi. Some some you don't. Mark Baldrich and Toby Simmons and Sandy Cummings, who met you in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
She's a singer. Lisa Rich is here, and Eyelet Zohar.
Eyelet? Oh wow, Ayelet. I always call it wrong. I always say it wrong. Sorry, Ayelet.
She misses you, Lisa. I said Lisa Rich already, and thank you. And thank you. So anyway, so
what are we? How did I get here?
I know you were just in Italy, right?
I was just in Italy
an hour
teaching
ago.
a lesson. Yeah, right. Well, I'm still in Texas,
Oh, I didn't actually.
So it's an hour even. I'm only 2 hours different from you now. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to go back next week. I've been here a few weeks with my son and daughter-in-law and 2 grandkids. Yeah. Doesn't matter where I am. It's this computer. Just I take it. I can be any place. Like that's what we do, right?
I know. My computer. Long story. I was trying to deal with the iMovie, and it didn't work, and I screwed up my computer because I called Apple.
And what they screwed it up?
Yeah, because, you talk to somebody, it's just like anything. You talk to somebody, you think they know because they sound good. And then they lead you down this rabbit hole, and then you're gone in the rabbit hole. And so I was without my computer, and I had to, the first person this week was Brian McNellis, who was really enjoyable, but I was doing it on my iPad, and it was really a different experience. So anyway, so I have my computer back, but iMovie is still not happening. So my computer guy is like an old uncle who yells at you, so I don't dare bring it into Apple, without getting it to him so that he can mess around with iMovie or whatever. So
I don't think I know what that is even.
Well, iMovie is a really cool program. on a Mac, and you can fly in music and pictures and make a little movie. And it's
you would,
easy.
because you would be good at that. Yeah. What were you trying to make? Anything particular?
Yeah, I had a song from my last record, the one Straight Ahead to the UK, Sermonette. And so it was really nice. And the words are, I think, really helpful right now, uplifting. And so I wanted to put it out and made a nice little movie. I actually made it, but every time I try and share it, iMovie shuts down immediately. It doesn't share, it just shuts down. So I'm like, well, now what? I mean, I can make the movie and I guess, the worst thing that could happen is I get another program, but still, I have a Mac. I should be able to have iMovie, period. Anyway.
Do you have Mac stores near you?
Oh, yeah. But like I said, if you have a computer guy like mine who yells at you, who says, do not call Apple, that's why we're here. Then you're like, okay, I won't do anything until I call you first,
Well, I don't know what we do without right now during all of this.
Without our computer.
The internet. I mean, I think of especially, people who were shut-ins anyway, and I mean, so count your blessings. Here we are. I'm talking to you from miles away.
Yeah. Lois Gilbert says hi too.
Hello. Oh, this is great. Last minute. You sure put it out, didn't you? Then people like sharing it on Facebook. Great. It's great. I'm sorry about Bill. Well, you'll have him on again. So
I will. Actually, speaking of people, there are people that I would like to invite onto the show who have difficulty connecting. Like I spoke with Melody.
Right?
No, gosh, I'm getting her name wrong. D'Ambrosio, Meredith D'Ambrosio yesterday. And she's not a computer person. She hates email, and she's a fantastic painter. Yes. You've seen her work, right?
Oh yeah.
Really beautiful.
She was on Sunnyside for many years. That's
right.
And I met her when she actually lived in New York. We were friends, but now she's
in Boston now.
Boston area, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's a great. So yeah, she's not high tech. I'm middle tech. She's low tech, or maybe no tech.
I'm 3/4 tech.
You're very good tech. Even to do this,
Well, Meredith said she's actually making, as she said, probably her swan song record with Sunnyside.
What do you mean? She's doing it again, you mean? Another one?
Do one more.
Oh, yeah. Because that's sort of how I know her. I mean, I knew her name because of Sunnyside, but that was before I got on. And
yeah,
he doesn't do that many singers, so.
That actually brings me into a conversation, because when I first saw Meredith here, the first impression was not of a jazz singer, just how she looked. She looked like a hippie.
Right.
And I was waiting. I was like, wow, okay. And then, like, about 16 bars into the song, I was totally smitten.
Yeah. Her
phrasing and her, what was it? There was something that actually changed the way that I sing. I have to remember what that was. It was
you mean listening to her?
Yeah. It was something about her focus. I haven't thought of this in a long, long time, but something about her focus. I don't think it was timing. I think it was, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, but she has a very distinct ability, jazz singing ability, which is really interesting. What do you think makes a jazz singer?
Well, there you go. I always say you can't define it, you can just identify it. In other words, you can identify. If you give me, you tell me, you play a singer, and I can tell you what she's listened to and what she hasn't listened to. But one of the things for me, it doesn't, the repertoire, you know, a lot of singers just think because you're singing a show tune, that doesn't mean it. It has to do with what you've listened to. So for me, swing is very important, and the connection to the lyric, the phrasing, of course, but I didn't even know, you know, phrasing, that's another one. It's like, what is that? That has to do with honesty. That has to do with it's interesting that you say, um, and I also like certain singers, how they communicate with the band, what who their band is, you know, the interplay.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of things that I hear that I say, yeah, they've listened to such and such, not just Ella and whatever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, and the lines are all blurred. You know, you talk about cabaret at time. I'm a cabaret at time. You know what I mean? Cabaret used to have a connotation.
Yeah.
So it does, and they are definitely storytellers, but there's a lot of blurred lines. But I have to say, just in general, with jazz, even free jazz, the swing element is very important for me. Not
Yeah.
always, not everything, you know. Anyway, that's just at the top of my head, but it's a good question, you know. But it has, for me, it's more with, okay, give me the singer and I'll tell you what I think, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Remember, she was one of the most well-known cabaret singers. She was married to a drummer and she lost the use of her legs.
Oh, I might have, and she's continued to sing in a wheelchair.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
totally
I can't
continued to
remember her
sing.
name. Yeah,
I can't remember her name
I
either.
want
Maybe
to.
somebody
I see an
listening.
M, but I don't think that's right. But go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, listening to her, I was always struck. I think if you take cabaret and you have a singer who's really like a musician, they don't tend to be kind of Broadway-esque. They tend to be more jazzy. You know, they're flexible. You know, not
Right,
really.
because yeah. In other words, there's sort of a thin line. There's emotion, and then there's emoting,
Yeah.
which is a little bit more. Now it's pushing on the theatrical, so then you lose the person a little bit. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard to talk about this. It really is, but there is such a thing. But again, if you hear the singer and go, "Oh yeah, she goes inside more," and the other one's like, "No, it's like you can." The one time I went to hear years ago, I remember hearing this definitely a cabaret singer, but she actually cried in the middle, and that's like breaking the fourth wall. I mean, that's
I've
but so
done
that's
that.
the
Oh my
extreme. Yeah, that's the extreme.
God.
We and not that we haven't come close to it.
Oh,
I
I've cried, yeah, and
I mean, we
I've gotten
do.
past it, but you know,
You know what I do? I told because you know, oh God, I'm gonna. This is a oh shoot.
are you
The
going to cry?
singer, you know the singer I'm talking. I'm gonna go. She's LA. She's there, and she's married to a blonde. You love her. We all love her. I'm gonna think of her name. If she's watching, tell me who you
She's
are.
blonde or she's married to a
She's
blonde.
blonde, but you know her, and I probably met her at one of your workshops, but she did the farm when Sheila and I did this retreat on a farm, and she couldn't sing a ballad without crying.
Cat Connor.
Cat, so dear, and so
Right. I saw many workshops with Rebecca Paris, especially. She could
no,
not
but
get
so
through.
and it was a whole, you know, it was like four days, and
Yeah.
I insisted that she sing a ballad on the concert, and we worked so hard on that because that's wonderful. I mean, I have songs I still can't sing because I, I remember somebody presented, "What are you doing the rest of your life?" I'm always trying to sell that to singers. I think it's a beautiful tune. I can't sing it. As soon as I get to the end, I start crying. I've never sung it. It's a beautiful tune. But yeah,
I
so
totally
and she,
got it. Yeah.
yeah, but she did it. She sang it.
Wow.
Yeah, she did it. But she just comes to mind. Hope she doesn't mind Cat my using her as an example. I'm sure I met her out there, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have.
Yeah.
You know, one time I auditioned for a show here called Just Jazz, which was written by Cy Coleman and the Bergmans. and they were there at the audition. It was a small group, and they wanted you to sing a song, a swing song, and a song that really meant a lot. And in my book was one of the songs, like "What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life?" How do you keep the music playing? Which the Bergmans wrote.
Another heavy one, right? Whoa.
Oh, and there's always, and in the beginning I said, I hope I get through this one area. and Alan Bergman said, I know the area. And sure enough, when I got there, I choked up. And it's just, I mean, it's an emotional experience. I mean, sometimes you just can't help it. Like there's a song that I wrote for my sisters. Oh. That's really hard to sing in public, especially if I dare look at a friend of mine, I'm just like, wasted on the floor, so, but I mean, it's an experience, and, who was that singer? It was a singer in the 60s, kind of a, da, 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 he must be, what song was that? Da, 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 or I shall die. I forget who that singer was. She was in the 60s, there were these kind of showy singers who were really good singers and good musicians. Anyway, she would cry almost every song that people used to laugh about that. It was like, oh God, here she goes again,
That happened to me recently, but it wasn't, if Ayala is there. I'm doing a great project with her in Montreal about Lunar. She wrote beautiful music. I'm doing poetry, blah, blah, blah. I wish I could go on and on. I will. You ask me about it. But so she had a meeting of all the people that did this. It was great. And at the end, I just felt this. I was going to say goodbye because I was there for a while. They were playing bits from it. And I said, something's welling up. I have to do a poem. So I did, made my free poem, It was a friend of Sheila Jordan's poems called, maybe you've heard it. It has to do with letting go, waste not time in backward looks, And so I don't know why. I just did. It takes about a minute. And and when I say goodbye, I saw my eyes out.
Oh.
So when things are, when things really connect, it's okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully we channel it. We channel it in the music,
Yeah.
I used to bite my tongue. I would bite my tongue.
Oh, good idea.
I had to get back to, that's so weird, I did it on my first album of the Jay Clayton All Out. It was Lonely Woman. And my ex, Frank, was on drums, for that album. And we were about to split up.
Oh. So
you can imagine in the middle of that one. And I remember being in the booth and I had to, just for a second, because I didn't want to mess up the take. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, thank God we are emotional, but we have this music to channel. So such wonderful tunes that people write.
Yeah. I have a few comments. Wesleya Whitfield was the one who lost the use of her legs. Thanks, Christine. Wesleya Whitfield. She always struck me as a really musical singer, not really stuck in a box, and she was thought of as cabaret, but maybe in with some people, she was thought of as jazz. And Sandy always has good comments. She said, phrasing to me is telling the story in the moment with how you feel, how the room influences you, the audience. It's a place of experimentation. So any story can be told more than one way with different emphasis. Nice.
Yeah, that's what we talk. That's how when she would appreciate it. In the 60s, when I came to New York, of course, I sat in, there was no open mics where you sign up. That would have been nice. How nice that we have those now. But so I remember sitting in and it was, oh God, it was Jackie Byard. I mean,
really?
Around here.
Oh.
I would sit in just to find out how I was doing. In other words, could I actually be myself? And that's a high profile, I think Raz was on bass, somebody. But my point is, I just remembered if I would sing a tune at the very late, 2 in the morning, that they didn't expect you to be. Well, you know that they probably still have. They didn't expect you to be able to sing,
Right.
and that the first one of the when I finished the first tune, somebody said, "Oh, you have good phrasing." I had no idea what he was talking about. And I think that's good. I had no idea what he was talking about. And I think now, as a teacher, you start to articulate all that stuff, you know. No idea. So which I think is good, you know. You can't try to do it, you know. Oh
Okay,
God.
Roland wants to know how you would classify Barbara Streisand.
Oh, well, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Because she's like her own thing too, you know. I always loved her voice, and I heard her live, you know. I mean, I think we're peers, right? Isn't
Yeah.
she my age? You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she had to go in the village, you know, looking for a thing, and then she got famous. And I, how do I explain this? I wouldn't define her as, you know, a jazz singer as such.
Right.
But I know that she's listened to jazz. I'll bet she has.
Oh yeah.
But again, she's an example of somebody that I believe when she has the instrument to pull it off, you know.
Yeah.
I have to think about that because you know, anyway, I finally, I don't know if anybody else has, let me know anybody. You don't see her on talk shows or anything, right? And for 20 some years, she did not sing in public. She only recorded. And I have a cousin who has money, came to visit me. Her first appearance after not singing for people was at the Madison Square Garden. Can you imagine? With that beautiful orchestra. And I got to go.
Oh
But I
gosh.
mean, can you imagine if you haven't sung for a while in front of people and then it was gorgeous. I would have killed to sing on that microphone. Sound like
Yeah.
a record, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a point to that. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was just so, you
Yeah.
know. And then a few years later, I actually saw her on a talk show, which if you ever
I don't think so.
she doesn't do that either, you know.
Right.
It
Right.
was an interview and somebody asked her why, you know, how did she get that sort of stage fright or whatever it was?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to say, I felt that she said because people had such high expectations of me. I'm
Yeah.
sure it was you. And I have gone through that, you know. I mean, even with all my dearly singers, I try to figure out what the heck's my problem, you know. I mean, it's never going to go completely away.
Right.
It's not stage fright anymore. It's just, I don't know, anticipation. But part of it for me, especially lately, I go, get over it, Jay, you know, get over it,
Yeah.
just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really identified with that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something about that, you know, it's like what, if I weren't me, I would just say, cut it out. You're just voting. Quit thinking that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
you know, her son is not that old, and he's a really good singer. My friend works with him, produces him, and records him and stuff. He's probably, I don't know, in his 40s, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere 40s, 50s, something like that. But he's really good. I think his name is Jason, something like that.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, and it's Gould. His father was.
Oh, for the father's name, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But let's see. Yes, I think Judy Garland cried. Joyce, I'm pretty sure she she cried. And hi, Alvin. I'm sorry I haven't called you, but it's been a little funny. Edie Gourmet was not the person. Oh, Vicky Carr. Thank you, Roz. Yes, it was Vicky Carr who used to cry every, like, you know,
oh, wow.
more than not. Yes. that and Barbara kind of was in that period of time too, which you and I both, even though we have some years between us, we still both experienced, you know, those singers like Edie Gourmet and people, you could actually go see them. they had fantastic bands and arrangements, and they were super professional, and they were really good normally, right? And really good singers and kind of beautiful. And yeah, I remember seeing people. It was great, you know.
Oh, listen, I'm old enough. I used to watch the hit parade with Rosemary Clooney.
Definitely. Do you know that actually Rosemary Clooney was one of the people that I listened to growing up? It was not, I didn't have a lot of singers listening. Ella, Rosemary Clooney, Judy Garland, and some of the groups like the High Lows and stuff.
Yeah, no, well, you couldn't, when I came to New York, there were hardly any singers that even Ella and them, they weren't working New York. They were out work.
Oh, really?
So when I came to New York in 63, of course, I heard Miles and Train and you name it, Eric Dolphy, Mingus, Monk, they were playing regular. So that's my jazz history.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, even Sheila wasn't, I met Sheila later and Ella, they were all doing the circuits, like the hotel circuits. Terrible. You couldn't go into a club and hear jazz. Yeah, really. So I never heard Ella live. Did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
One time I even gave her words that from the audience that she forgot. It was for a really silly song like
Tisket a Tasket?
No, it was for what's that? Memories light the corner of my mind. What song is that?
The Barbara's Ella did that, or you? Oh,
yes, she did it, and she forgot the lyrics, and I was like, la la la, from the audience.
I welcome all singers to do that for me, and I'm the word and lyric police. So if I'm in the audience, I usually know. That happened to me a couple years ago too on a verse, and how wonderful. And I'll forget his name too. I hope you're not watching. But fortunately, it was rubato. You see, so it was the verse, and I froze, and he gave me the line.
That happened to me last week. I was on a gig and Tom Francini was in the audience. And what I had said was something like the girl and the boy. And then I couldn't think of the next line. No matter how many times I sang it, I couldn't think of the next line. And finally, he said, it's the boy and the girl. And then I had the next line. So I had just kind of screwed that up in my head. Let's see. Jason Gould, thank you. And Joyce Glasgow says, what do you think about opera singers who sing jazz, like Renee Fleming, stylistically, vocal sound?
I'd have to listen again, but my theory on that is that, I don't, you can sing a jazz tune, but if you haven't been singing it for a long time, it's not going to, chances are it's not going to have those criteria I was telling you about.
Yes, right.
And the same thing in reverse. I studied opera, but don't, so you don't do a little bit of this and a little bit of, I don't think I'm such a purist. I can't do arts. I knew art songs, but I'm never going to.
Pardon me.
Yes.
My husband is asking me something.
What'd you do with the coffee?
I love it.
The coffee maker?
Yeah, did you move it? It was under
I have no idea. Okay. It might be in the middle bedroom, maybe. Yeah, our kitchen is not together, right? Because we're rebuilding our kitchen. So basically everything in the kitchen is kind of scattered in almost every room of the house. So he was asking me what I did with the original coffee maker. I have no idea.
Lots of luck. Oh, I can't wait to see that kitchen.
I can't wait either. It's getting a little more exciting now.
You better be cooking up a storm.
I know. I am so waiting to when the kitchen's done, I'm going to get out my recipe books and make something really amazing. Even though Gary probably won't eat it because he's a very meat and potato taster guy. But I'm going to make it. And maybe I'll invite a person over who's not worried about COVID.
Well, it's somebody in your pod, or do you call them pods, or what do you call them when there's a few people that you do see?
Kind of.
Bubbles. Some people call it your bubble.
Yeah, I haven't called it anything.
So you do have a couple people that come in.
I do.
Yeah, I have a, oh, it's so hard. That whole thing, don't get me started. It's so hard to decide on that stuff, you know. I mean, my daughter worked the polls yesterday,
Oh,
5 a.m.
and I
till
just say something.
midnight.
I tried 4 times to get hooked up with that. And they were saying, oh, yeah, the polls, the people who are helping at the poll, it's very low this year. And I'm like, okay, I want to do it. Nobody contacted me, and no way at all. I was really disappointed. I wanted to get in there,
Do your
kind
thing.
of
It's
help.
so
So
easy.
did your daughter, did she enjoy it or?
Well, it was a lot of work. She said, I mean, it's clear, we all know this. Everything has, it wasn't organized. It wasn't that organized, and they did it. But in other words, this whole thing has to be revised, how you vote and what you register, or you don't register and some, but she worked it, but there's a lot of things that have to be improved upon the thing. But no, she did her duty, that's long hours.
I know, really long, right?
The person in charge didn't show up right away. I mean, this is
Oh
important
boy.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did it. But I've only thought of it not to brag about mine. I think it is a good thing. I mean, we
Yeah.
all want to try to help, but you know, they were distancing, but not completely. She made up her
Yeah.
mind to, I mean, now I'm going to see her in a week, so she's, now she's quarantined, but I don't know how to decide, except you do your best, and wear your mask and, whatever, but
Yeah.
terrible times. Next subject. No,
I wonder how we're going to look back at this. It's obvious. It obviously won't be as visceral, in 20 years, but we will look back and we will remember and kind of, I'm sure it'll, kind of roll up
this,
an experience.
it's gonna, I mean, this has never happened. This is gonna be in the history books and we're right here living it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two things, the political and the, thing. It's like,
Yeah.
we, in the old days, we see it on TV, we see everything. Oh, but that's okay. We were born now and that's what we get, so.
This is a deep question, but what do you think the role of the artist is right now? Or do you think that there's a role? I mean, that's kind of formal, isn't it? The role of the artist. But what do you think
Well,
the artist can do? Let's put it that way. It's a little softer.
Well, I think it's less of a role, I think contribution in a way. I think that we contribute, but now, that's a good question for right now. I have to tell you, when this started and people started to live stream and,
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to a concert online and I didn't want to do a concert like that.
Yeah.
So that's my first thing. Wow, this is just not normal. But then as the weeks went by, I mean, I wasn't even interested. I mean, because I was taken, I might have told you this personally. It just was a coincidence. I wanted to do a hiatus anyway. In my own life, I was going into New York less. I wasn't going to go after gigs. I always have something in the calendar. It was like I wanted to retreat and regroup and who am I? What do I want to do? And then the whole world said, okay, how about this? We'll just stop the whole world, because it was in my mind, it was a little, not depressed, but stop the world. I want to get off for a minute. Our world of, whatever. But then, so I wasn't interested. But you know what? Somebody, and I can't remember said, but people need it, they said. In other words, you're not going to perform, but what about the people who go to performances who get something? They're nourished by that.
Right.
So I've done 2 live streams already, and the first one was hard psychologically. It was a great place with a great band. Maybe you saw it. It was at
I
William
did.
Patterson.
Yep. I
I
saw it.
wasn't completely comfortable, but the feedback is that we'll take art out. That would be the only way you can answer that question. I feel at its best, whoever's listening, if I could be the audience too, time stops for that. Time stops then. And there are no problems in we always talk about being in the moment. And so for me, that is a contribution. And the best compliment that I've ever had is not, how I sound. I mean, that's great if somebody digs it, but they say I came to the concert and I was in a whole different state of mind and I went away more uplifted. So
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't do it because it's a role, but I think that we do contribute,
Yeah.
And I mean, too bad I don't have a memory because I'm very much into quotes and I've collected quotes about that too, what the artists and stuff. And if I come up with them, it helps.
I write everything down.
Right.
I actually have these quotes. It's funny that you said that. I wonder where, no, but my problem is I have so
Finding
many things
them,
written
right?
down. Yeah, but I have these quotes that I've been wanting to type up so I could share them, But anyway, wonderful about music and from a lot of, people who give great quotes, Yeah, let's see. Joyce is saying, I think artists, especially musicians, are really helping us all keep it together mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with their regular live streams. I know that it helps me tremendously in my isolation, and I'm grateful. There you go.
Well, there it is. And that's just, and because of Joyce, thanks, because of that, I mean, because of that, and then, of course, I was on with the Neumeister. When this started, 2 CDs, I got two new CDs at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that, And so that's what prompted it. But I agree, and I appreciate that feedback because, and now I also can go to. I didn't even want to go. I mean, it's like in a little box, but I do. I go to concerts, online when I can. If you can just get in, that's the problem, figuring it out. Some of them are complicated. What do you put?
Yeah, there's some really interesting things. Yeah, some of the talks are really interesting too. I saw there's an organization called Improv Organization. I can't remember the whole title, Improv something. And they had a one-on-one talk with Jules Pfeiffer.
Oh, wow. I think I saw him once on stage years ago. Well, what was that like?
It was wonderful. I should share it with you. I just recorded it on my phone, but wow, he's very, I would say, spiritual. And
yeah,
I mean, he was a major political cartoonist for years and years. And he said something like, I was just this kind of popular little Jewish boy, and but I really liked drawing, and that's how he started. But he was really cool. It was great to listen to. I tend to like. I mean, I mean, let's face it. Pick a great musician, watch and listen to their concert. It's great. And then there's also so many wonderful discussion things on, or there's classes. My friends are taking classes all the time,
what to do. Yeah, what you can do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're improving the sound and everything. I mean, that has to be, what is it like? They're all different. How do you do that?
Yeah.
But
I think it's interesting from what you said. I think it's kind of interesting thinking about, okay, that you had 2 CDs come out early this year and you couldn't go live you couldn't have live CD release. You couldn't go on the road. And in a way, I feel like releasing the music online, as we have to do right now, is it's more powerful maybe in marketing or something. It's more I guess marketing lines. And the live performance of it is a different thing. I mean, yeah, there's marketing elements to it, but that's not really what the live performance is about, right? It's not really about marketing and selling that CD. It's something else. It's sharing the experience and something.
Yeah, because the truth of the matter is, and I knew this years ago, because it's great. We do have CD release concerts, but you're not reaching that many. You're not going to sell that many CDs, and you're not reaching that many people.
Right.
But it is important because you made that, and you want to do it live. You want to bring it live.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is. But yeah, so that happened. And it doesn't mean that it won't happen and we'll go on the road, when. But here's something deep, I think, about how we're affected by this whole thing, is that it brought to mind that it doesn't matter about this whole thing of fame and everything. I'm trying to tie this in. In other words, everybody's at a different level about your visibility, everybody. And I always say, don't compare, but we are aware of that. But at the moment, that just kind of fades. It kind of, in the thing about what are we doing, you get, and I am a person that does go inside and stuff, but we're talking months now of getting a chance to think about what's important. Right?
I agree. There's a whole
I don't want to make music, because I do. I didn't for a while, but I'm into it now. I'm into it now. I didn't practice for months. I'm using my eye reel even. I'm actually practicing with my eye reel because I've been teaching for all these months, and everybody has to do it. But, I didn't do it. I don't know how to do it. Now I do. Maybe I'll do a tune for you later. You know what I mean? I'm practicing what I preach. I don't know why, but for months, nothing. I don't know about you. I didn't.
No, I think almost everybody I spoke to for the first at least 2 months didn't go near the practice room. I think everybody was so shocked and kind of knocked off their stable way that they were doing things before. And and now I'm definitely getting into the practice room more and going through the songs and writing. I've definitely written a bunch of songs, and I have a desire, to keep going on that. And the thing that's interesting about let's see. So I want to make the best appearance possible. If I'm going to be online, I want it to be the best appearance possible. But quite frankly, I've done a few things, and they have not all.
You mean live streaming?
Live streaming,
performance.
And they have definitely not been 100% in my mind. And and there they are. For everyone to see, and forever they're out there. And I don't feel the same, even though I do of course want to be as close to 100% as I can. I kind of don't care either. And I see that in a lot of people. It's like, hey, we're just all hanging out at home in our pajamas, and although you and I are dressed today, but you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, let's just share the reality of who we are. And I see that a lot more, don't you?
You mean on the live streams? You mean?
On live streams, and not just with us, but across the board. I mean, with people who, maybe
on
are
Facebook and stuff, like they sing a song on Facebook and
on all live streams.
Yeah, I've only seen like a couple of concerts that are like, do you know about the Soapbox Gallery?
I do. Very nice.
Very nice. So I've seen that, and maybe one other one. So I haven't. And then you're right. Then on Facebook, people just sing a song or do a thing.
Yeah. But I mean, but people just kind of don't really, I don't feel like they care as much, right now. I feel like they're just willing to show themselves, pimples and all,
Yeah, well, that's vulnerability, and that should happen anyway, even in a more, high profile concert. Yeah,
It should, yeah.
who you are, and it's we read about it, but thank God we have this. So getting back to jazz, it's like getting back to why do we do it? Well, we get to be who we are or not. If we're not, then people know that, people know authenticity. They don't know that's why they like or don't like a person, I think. An artist of any kind. They don't know why, but we do as teachers. We analyze a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah, interesting, as artists. But anyway, yeah, so onward to more live streams. I got another one coming up at the November 20th. I'll advertise right now because I don't know how to. At the Soapbox Gallery,
Oh,
November 20th.
cool.
Ed and I and Gary Vasese. We're again with the album. The latest one is Three for the Road.
Cool.
The wonderful Fritz. You have that. I always send. I have a link. I send them. I give them away.
Me too. Yeah, that's great. That'll be really nice. It's a really nice, that's a nice experience. Done very well. And yeah, it's very professionally done.
Yeah, but after doing two, now the second one, I think I even talked to the audience, which wasn't there, but it's like record, but they are there. I knew there would be 20, 30 people that I know. They always show up, and
Do
so
you have a link for it? You can go to the soapboxgallery.com,
yeah, you can
right?
go to the
Soapbox Gallery.
I think it's just soapboxgallery.com, and they tell you what's coming up, and that's how you go on. And I think it's one of the easy ones. In other words, you can pay after. You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
have to work. Not that people don't want to pay, but it's like sometimes to get in and use their PayPal and all that. You can do
It
it
is
after.
an easier one. Yeah, there's another one that's really cool is called Zero BPM, which has some really great. It's out of here, out of LA. Um, yeah, you're right, Joyce. Too. Good thing about live streams is that people get to see people from all over the world where they might not
Well,
have
except they're
even.
not doing it quite yet.
Right.
That's going to be the fringe benefit of all this. But the
Yeah.
question is, they have to know about it all over the world. In other words, for the two that I
Marketing.
did, there wasn't a lot from all over I thought there are a lot of people. So we have to that's a different kind of promote. You do have to tell people, but I don't know how. I guess Facebook, everybody's not on Facebook.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, you just have to figure out where the lines are, and ask your friends to promote it. Eva Simontachi is here.
Yeah, no, she's good. Yes. In other
She's
words, I have.
here. She's on.
Oh, Ava. Oh my God. Hello. There's another one. Oh, Ava, I'm telling you. Ava's so sweet. And
And
I always,
Dina DeRose is here too, but sorry.
Dina, oh my goodness. That's so cool. That's so cool. I miss everybody. I mean, thank God for this thing, but I was supposed to go over there. Oh, but Dina's in Vienna. No, she's in Graz. That's right.
Yeah.
There's that terrorist thing that happened in Vienna. I mean, never mind. Let's not go there. But
Yeah.
no, yeah. No, Dina's wonderful. Yeah, I would be there too. You know, that's what's great. No more traveling for a while. That's okay.
She said she
Traveling now.
missed you there.
I'm in LA now, so there you go.
Um,
I'm concerned.
yeah, Dina says she misses you, or they miss you there.
Yeah.
Joyce Glasgow, this is interesting. I listen to a weekly music live stream that has developed a community of listeners who have become familiar friends who we look forward to seeing each week. And in the comment threads, and the musician interacts with us all in real time. It's wonderful and a positive in our strange new world. Very nice.
Yeah.
What is this? SAPB. Oh, Soapbox Gallery. Thank you. Thanks, Christine.
I don't see the things, whatever. However,
You don't see nothing.
I
So,
don't have to. You see it all.
let's listen to some of your music. Should I go on YouTube, or is that a good place to
Yes, I
find?
mean, I'm not, I didn't, you must have something. I don't know where, yeah, there's a lot, there's stuff on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I
I
don't know.
know.
I mean, I have,
We'll get you here. That's your tube. Your tube, not YouTube. And Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton. And Jay Clayton. Oh, look.
see, that's the other Jay Clayton.
Oh,
You
on
have to
need
say
for
jazz singer.
financial
Yeah.
literacy. Ah, interesting. But we want Jay Clayton jazz singer. And who's that?
Uh-oh, who's that?
I don't know, man. It's
Oh
not
my
you. Maybe top tracks. Well, I'd like to. Oh, yeah. No, didn't I see like here, let me get rid of that. I thought I saw Hirsch and you.
Which one? Well,
Oh,
Beautiful Love, Wild is the, oh no, that's
these are actually oh, look at you and Rosanna.
yeah, I went out and did a workshop because she's out in Texas, she's not far from where I am right now. And so
Is this a fun one?
it's fun, Rosanna, yeah. The Fred Hirsch, I only see Wild as the Wind, and then me and Grinelli, Lonely Woman, Kirk Nurrock from 1978.
Wow, really? This
Did you
one?
ever saw that?
No, I guess I'll
All
have to
right.
watch that one.
It's one of the early videos.
Oh.
Look, it's Soho television. See how old-fashioned it is?
Wow.
Oh my God, I got to look at my young self.
Oh my God. Oh gosh, you are adorable there. Holy moly.
Jay Clayton is a well-known singer whose perceptive and original interpretations have received the enthusiastic attention of both jazz and modern music audiences. She has performed with such virtuoso composers as Steve Reich and Kirk Nurrock, and appears regularly at respected forums for the new jazz. She has been featured in the Universal Jazz Coalition's Salute to Women in
It'll
Jazz,
get to the tune in a
with such
minute.
singers as Sheila Jordan, Jean Lee, and Maxine Sullivan, and has appeared in the Museum of Modern Art's distinguished Summer Garden series of contemporary music. In the first part of this program, Jay Clayton improvises on 2 compositions in collaboration with Kirk Nurrock. Nurrock is a recognized composer, conductor, and pianist in both jazz and modern musical forms. He has been variously music director, vocal and orchestral arranger for such Broadway productions as Hair, Shelter, and Working. He has given concerts involving his innovative vocal technique, natural sound, throughout the United States. Nurrock can be heard on his solo piano album and on ABC Paramount, Impulse, and Columbia Records, among others. Clayton and Nurrock will perform their own arrangement of Thelonious Monk's Straight No Chaser, followed by Nurrock's arrangement of Rodgers and Hart's My Funny Valentine.
Came to this town, was tired of moving around. I came to get straight, I had to get straight, no time to waste. Lord knows I had to make haste. Your things are moving, no time for tooling. I used to wonder why, when everything seemed so really foul up inside, I had to get straight. Straighten up time, no time for fooling around. I'm trying to keep up, I gotta keep up. You wanna know why? Because they're waiting in line. I'm in a hurry, no time to worry. You see, to me it really matters what happens. It really does, 'cause chasing is straight. But wait,
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
How old were you there?
I was trying to do the math. I can't do the math. 1978. What does that make me? It was 1980. I can't do the math. Somebody do the math.
Okay, 1978. And when were you born?
1941. So
Okay, so you were 37.
37 years old. Yeah, I already had kids. Yeah, I already had kids.
That was
I bet you were
great.
wondering how we were going to get out of that one.
Well, I figured if you were just honest, it would be fine.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
so, oh gosh, oh yeah, I will supply the link to that video. Yes, I will. Copy. And here you go. Somebody would like the link. And there it is. That's it. You look like you're in your early 20s. I know. She looked very young. And Dina is asking, who is the most interesting musician you've ever sung with besides Kurt?
Oh God, I have a lot. I have a long list, but I'll tell you one of the standouts, of course, is I mean, in terms of the newer music, is Muhal, Richard Abrams. You know my
I don't. Richard Abrams. No, I don't think
Muhal,
so.
Richard Abrams. He's like the master. He just died, but he's the master of free music. Chicago Art Ensemble, that out of Chicago, the free George Lewis. You know all those players.
Yeah.
I think I'm just saying, as far as, I mean, interesting. I'm very lucky. I'd have to look through my archives, because I started doing that, Dina. I was trying to archive, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then I put it back in the box and everything. But I started listing people I worked with. So the list is very long, but I only say Muhal because he's like the master of this free music. So for me, that was for him to ask me to perform and record with him. I mean, it was the top people in that kind of thing. There's certain things that in my life that are important, but yeah, Kirk was, of course, Jane Ira Bloom, and I'm getting a blank, but I'm telling you that there are a lot, and I feel very lucky about that, because I've always had like collaborators, Julian Priester, these are just names that come to mind.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky to work with fine musicians, and Ed, of course, Neumeister now is my latest, and of course Dina knows that. We'll work with Dina soon, I'm sure. For me, that's what's kept me going. She didn't know she didn't know, but I'll just say this because people want to know about me, of course. The thing that keeps me going, because I'm not rich. I mean, money isn't everything, but I'm just saying, we go, why do we do this? It's a lot of work, and we do, is that in my life, there are a lot of instrumentalists and singers who like working with me and work side by side, actual collaborations. And that's just what keeps me going, the music, I mean, you keep doing it no matter what. There's always a way to do it, and there's always somebody to collaborate with. I've been making up gigs all my life, and now, through the years, you stick to it long enough, and you actually do get calls, not saying
I know, you actually do get calls. I know, but I know that feeling. Yeah, it's like,
people either know me, or they go, Jay Clayton, who's he? I get both extremes, because I just do. But let me get back to that, Dina.
what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so that's you do such a specific thing, and at that point it was wow, it was so present. How did you ever start? What made you start singing like that, scatting like that specifically? With the not the words, obviously, because that's phrasing. I can understand that, but to start and to go after this, that kind of stuff. What actually did that?
You don't know, because you don't know me long enough. So that's where the luck of being my age comes in, because when I was in college, that's when I started singing. When I went to college in 1959, I already was turned on to jazz. I'm going to give you a little, because this is all related to what you're saying, what led me to that. So I grew up with Frank Sinatra. My mother sounded like Billie Holiday. She didn't have a clue what jazz was, because it was the pop music. So I grew up with the standards. A lot of the standards I do, all I had to do was, maybe touch up a couple words. I already knew them.
Yeah.
So my cousin, when I was I must have been 17 or something. It was at the end of high school, and he gave me 3 records. It was Miles Davis, Ramsey Lewis, and Dave Brubeck. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what jazz was. And I played those records, and that was it for me. And everybody has a story like this.
Yeah.
What is this? I have to have more. And I went to Columbia Records, and for a penny, every month I ticked off jazz, and I got a jazz record. So I was on searching for jazz. Well,
Yeah.
meanwhile, I decided to go to college. I'm going to talk fast because, I'm old. It's a long story, but I'll make it
Okay,
short.
you don't have to talk fast.
Okay. So I decided nobody went to college, everybody does now, but nobody in my family, it's the, second generation Italians, but the people would come to the school, high school, and suggest that we go away. So it was my way of getting out of, Youngstown, Ohio. Okay. So I had a girlfriend. She said, let's go to Miami University, which was in Ohio, but kind of far near Cincinnati.
Uh-huh.
But I had to go to a state school. It was very cheap. Can you imagine? $1,000 a semester for room and board and everything. Everything. I said, yeah. So we applied and we made it. And she bailed out. So I went myself. Can you imagine? A little girl from Ohio. My parents drove me, 300 or 400 miles and dropped me off at the dormitory, But I'm only saying this because what I tell my students or anybody is that you just go from one thing to another thing. You love something, you do it, and it's going to lead to another. You can't get the whole picture. You just can't.
Right.
And you shouldn't, because you'll miss something on the way.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going to go on. So I went away myself, and they didn't have jazz education. But I had taken piano theory. So my roommate said, "Why don't you be a music major?"
Yeah.
What a concept. You mean get grades for something like you love like that? I didn't know you could do that. So then I would I knew these standards, and I would sing a cappella at a dorm meeting or when we were doing the laundry. These, Green Dolphin Street, Funny Valentine. And she said, you should sing sounds like you're really into jazz. You should sing for John Watson. He was a trombone player who had been in the service and knew jazz. And she said, he'll tell you if you can sing. So I did. And I became part of his band. I remember the first gig. So we're singing. I only did 2 or 3 tunes, but so what? Anyway, I managed. So by the time I graduated, I already had a repertoire, and I came to New York. Why? Well, I knew that's where it was, because we and a couple of the guys during a vacation, we went to New York just for the spring vacation, and they turned me on to Monk, and we went to see Monk, and we went to see Steve Lacy. Hello, he was playing all Monk. I'm just telling you, this is how lucky I am. And I'm like, oh, I have to have more of this. So when I graduated, I went to New York by myself. That's a lot of courage. I found a roommate. I mean, I managed to do it. But anyway, what your question was, well, lucky me, I got there, and that was the beginning of free music. So in other words, people like Steve Lacy and Don Cherry and some younger cats and Perry Robinson and all these are all free players. They say that we don't want to read music, we want to just play. And they abandoned it.
Oh, okay.
And I was living in a loft. I discovered a loft.
Right.
So you see, in other words, it came to me, but there weren't. Jean Lee was the other singer that was doing it. Jean Lee.
Oh, right? Yeah, right.
She's a couple years older than me, but not many singers. And because I had a loft, they would come and jam at my loft, totally free. All these horn players and everything, and I just jumped in and did it. You see, that's where it started. But we didn't have iPhones then. I have no recordings of that at all.
Yeah.
And so I started we started doing concerts completely free.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we didn't even talk to each other. We just got on stage and played. I was in that, maybe not many people in the audience, And then, so but I still never stopped doing the standards.
Yeah.
And then when I started to give concerts in my loft, because nobody was going to give me a gig, sometimes it was all standards, sometimes it was completely free. But when it was all standards, I'd just hear something. I said, I want to get out. And when it was all free, it was like, oh, please let me sing How Deep Is the Ocean. And so I think so that's the way I teach, I teach both. So in the end, it was just a normal thing that in my own sets, I still do. I combine them. But to answer your question, there I was thrown in. I don't know what I did.
So you just developed it by doing it, basically, and it just
Absolutely.
nothing happened like, okay, I'm gonna go or whatever.
No,
I'm not gonna do that, right? Yeah.
Absolutely not, Cathy.
Yeah.
It was so natural because that's what was happening then. And I've had singers say, they go, teach me how you do that. I have no idea. And you shouldn't, because that's why I do these workshops. If you start singing free, you'll find it will be known to you. It'll come out that way.
Yeah.
And I realized that it's very connected to emotion as well, or not. Some people just feel maybe I did too.
This is so Jay, or not. But it kind of actually makes me think of something I was reading today. What's her name? Oh gosh, I can never remember her name. Shama Podran?
I love her. Podran. Yeah, I love her.
How do you say her name?
Chimpra, is it? I can't remember.
Good. Okay, you can't either. Anyway, so my girlfriend Kanga sent me a book of hers, and I was reading today about meditation, and which is, I mean, most of the spiritual leaders who I'm listening to and reading, they're all saying, yeah, yes or no. And that's always been your point of view. It's like you have this, like direction or not.
That's why that's what I wanted to call an improv book, because I see what happened was in the free stuff was that after a while, that's why I started writing certain structures and things like my fortune cookie.
Right.
Because in the 60s, when we did that audience was so faithful. They sat there, but they knew that at one point, something fantastically beautiful would happen. And they were willing to wait for that.
To wait for it, yeah.
Beautiful, that you could not pre-compose, But what I found is that I started to think, but sometimes I know that's happening. I know that we're doodling. We're not.
Yes.
And so if we only have one little structure, or unison. I missed unisons. So I started writing music that way. And I call them points of departure. You might use it and you might not. But when you're compositionally on the same page, when it's time for more structure. A free player has to have all the same things as a composer, but a composer does it in 2 years. We got to do it in 12 minutes. That's what Steve Lacy said. There's another.
That's cool.
You see, so I was lucky I developed it, but I kept following. I love doing it. I had a dream once years ago where I was in a concert all by myself. Well, now I do these solo pieces.
Well, I have to say too that you have to be the right human being to do that and to reach for it. And I don't mean right. I just mean appropriate for this, because it's like my husband not eating, and not really liking anything but meat and potatoes, right? I mean, that's what he likes, and so you're which is why I always consider you to be not only a friend but my mentor as well, because what you talk about, what you go put into action, what your perspective is my meat and potatoes. It's my food that I like, and it makes me feel really good, and it makes me inspired, as it reminds me of my own inspiration to share with people, and why, kind of not in definite words and terms, but in feelings and ideas,
Yeah, and that's why when I started teaching so-called free improv,
yeah,
As a matter of fact, I say this in my book, I'm sure, that I don't believe you can teach and exactly teach it. Like we're just making an environment
Right,
to
right.
learn, and I know you agree with that. So I my very first workshop that I set up, I said, well, you can't teach it, but I'll do a workshop, and I ended up doing more free stuff. And I wondered, why am I doing this? Nobody's going to make money with this, and maybe you're going to use it, and maybe you're not. But now I know whether you're going to do it in your music in your life or not. If you take my work, if you do it, it will connect you with feelings. I didn't know then that I don't know which sounds are connected to what feelings I have, and that's not what I mean. But
Yeah,
if in a tune, it's great. And if you in a tune, you can sing a song and not even be there. Now, I just, quote me on that. You're there, but you're not. You got the melody, you got the lyrics. Most people are when they connect it. That's the good thing. But singing free, if you keep doing it, you have to be there. You feel something, you sing, you try it. But you can't just do a little bit of it. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah,
people are drawn to go, oh, I want to do that. Well, keep doing it. I did it a lot at sessions. And then in front of people, I learned in front of people. I don't know if I'd like all of it, but I knew that I had to work through it because you start to discriminate and choose things that are real to you.
yeah,
I love doing those workshops because I've had people be very emotional in there.
yeah,
You got to dig in. You got to
yeah.
dig in. We want to do that in a tune too, but we could not. We could hide behind some tune that doesn't touch us. But I know how it feels to be connected, and so do you.
Yeah,
And we keep searching about that, even if you're just doing songs.
yeah, yeah,
Which song? Why do you do that? I nail people on that, and they appreciate it. Because you can sing and not know what you're talking about.
so true.
Excuse me, or not. It just
I remember one thing when you would come and do workshops here, and you'd say, "What song are you working on this week?" And people would just like kind of get this blank look, like, "What do you mean?" it's I thought that was just a great tool and a great just really great focus. Like, okay, take a song,
it's
one
hard to it's
song,
hard
and
to
really
choose.
work on it.
Not 10.
It is hard to choose. It's really hard to choose. I have a
I
number of songs right now that
I
you
know.
know,
But it,
writing is a little different because I have to go over it a number of times, to really flush out the feeling, usually, although sometimes not in
but
Jay's
that's the
terms.
point. That's the
Yeah,
point. If you have one tune, it's hard. It
yeah.
hardly, and I can barely do it. I have a book of things I'm working on, but I can tell you right now what's up for me. We'll do it together. Do dee do do ba do dee da do. An artist, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I can tell you, not always, but I firmly believe that. And I have to live with that. You're my everything. Oh my God. I always loved that, but I did it ad nauseum. So, and I still don't solo on it that great, but but I want to, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
There's a song that Harry
Harry, yeah, that's one of them.
no, the sax player Harry oh, what's his last name? Oh, sorry. Anyway, Judy Carmichael wrote lyrics to it. Harry Allen. Wow, this
Oh,
song, I just love this song. It's so unusual. It's a waltz, which I'm prone to anyway. And it's a really unusually written song and very, very attractive. When you hear a song like that, it's like it's unusual and you're super attracted to it. It's like I have to sing that song. That was, I've had those moments over the years, and this is just a beautiful song. And
that's what you're working on now?
yeah, I keep kind of well, I mean, I've been writing in between too, but I keep pulling that out because it's so beautiful. That and also Lotus Blossom.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Dee, da, 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 da. Yeah,
That's
great.
a really interesting tune too.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
No, it's really hard to choose. I know that. there's so many songs. I know so many songs that I haven't even, no, really. And I don't have enough gigs. So there you go.
No, I know, totally. Well, I think we've talked about that before. There's just so many songs and not enough gigs to play them on.
Well,
How
you were
many
doing
songs are in a
something every
gig?
week, though, at least. I've done that several times in my life, found a place to work one night a week.
Well,
Just
yeah, I mean, that is
two or
really
three
good.
times, yeah.
You know, one night, Tamir and I were working together, Tamir Hendelman, and we we had this one gig that we did a bunch, and we decided to do a song for every letter of the alphabet. And we actually
You
got
mean
through
on
the
that gig?
alphabet.
You mean
Yeah,
on that
on
gig?
that gig, and we literally got through the alphabet. Barely on that gig.
Yeah.
That was a lot of songs.
You just did a concert with them. You just did a live stream with them that I couldn't. Never mind. Don't get
Oh,
me
right. Yeah, that was
started.
fun because it was
That's okay.
Rogers and Hart, and also Tamir and I haven't really worked together for a super long time. What was interesting to me about that, you know, as you say, you never stop learning.
Sorry. I know you're doing your show. I need you to, you can't flip some breakers because it looks like there's a cross wiring and it's marked office. So I don't want to do that with your Zoom going.
Well, you can flip the switch because I can go on my computer power. I don't have to go on any other power.
Well, I'm afraid if he flips the switch, it's going to cut power to this room.
But what I'm saying is my computer has power all by itself.
So,
And actually, what I'll do is I'll unplug my power just to be sure. The electrician, he's in here. So now nothing is plugged in except
your microphone,
yes,
phone.
yes,
Wow, you mean because you're on battery, in other words. Yeah.
yes. So now I'm on battery, and I will be fine. And if you have a minute, would you make me a smoothie?
If I can, I'm running in and out with him.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Or a cup of coffee.
okay. That I can do.
So he can go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Oh, so now I'll probably be, in the dark a little or something. But that'll be fine.
Cathy, I can't believe, is it possible that we only have another half hour in this?
Yes.
I talk so much. Yeah. Wow. Well, you were going to invite somebody else.
I was going to invite, well, I tried Lauren Pickford, but last time I invited him on, he was one of those people like Meredith D'Ambrosio that hadn't really gotten it together. But that was a few months ago. I thought, yeah, he's probably gotten it together by now. But I'll have to have him on sometime. Lauren Pickford he was the dark. He was a mentor of mine when I first moved to LA. He was the kindest, you're a young woman, there are those people who are going to take advantage of you, but he was not that. He was like my jazz father or something. And I'd knock on his door at 3 a.m. and he'd let me in and have me sleep on the couch.
Yep. Did you freeze up? You froze. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Oh, but I can't read your comments. I have a feeling, folks, that you're listening to me, but not to Cathy. But I have no way of knowing. Can you give me a chat in the chat box? Uh-oh. You are the host now. Oh. Well, this is embarrassing because I have a feeling that I'm live. And I'm all by myself. Well, I'll say hi to some of my friends that are out there, but I don't see your names. And So much for running on batteries. I'll text her. I'll text her. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to sign off. If anybody's watching, thank you for tuning in last minute. This was a last minute thing. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself. And I love you all and hope to see you soon in person.